If you applaud, I swear I'll come up there and smack you. This is how I spend my time when you're not here. Standing around, reading emails, blowing my organ. I'll put it there. That's what teleprompters are for. Now listen, it's going to be a very busy show tonight. I won't have time to do emails, so I'm just going to do them quickly now before we start the show. I know what you're thinking. Craig, that's change. We don't like change. Well, too bad. All right. The censor's like, I could do with some change. How about changing it to not cussing one night? Like, I'll try, but you'll never tame me. All right. I'll do a quick email jingle myself. Jeff, what time is it?
Tweets, emails, and thou.
All right, and then I'll do the jingle myself. It's email time. All right. All right, here's one. This is from Sarah in the UK, who says, Dear Craig, do you think we'll ever find Atlantis? No. And do you know why? Because it didn't exist. I look forward to your letters, your crazy, uninformed letters. All right, Atlantis did exist and vampires do have feelings. All right, you happy? All right, this is from Bill in Woodinville.
No way.
Yeah, way. In your pants.
In your pants.
In your pants. This is for us, actually. It's for Craig and Jeff. It says, Dear Craig and Jeff, how can I get a ketchup stain out of my pants?
Oh, poo.
No, ketchup.
Yep.
Pooh gets ketchup out? Well, take that, Martha Stewart. The things you didn't learn in prison. Don't you owe me. All right, I know we're out of time. I'll just do one more and then we'll go on with the show. This is from Tricia in Clark, Colorado, who says, Craig, me and my best friend are in a fight right now and I don't know what to do. I want to forgive her, but I want her to be less selfish too. Any advice? I'm amazed I stayed awake through the entire thing. Listen, let me warn you of something. Tricia, if you're married or if you are in a relationship of any sort with a man, don't tell him this. Well, you can tell him it, but don't expect him to listen to it all the way through. This is just the kind of thing that we go like this for. Oh, yeah. It's a real dilemma, honey.
The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, sponsored by Kia Motors and the all-new 2011 Sporting, the perfect crossover for the road ahead.
It's hard to stay up, it's been a long, long day, and you got the Sandman at the door. But hang on, leave the TV on, and let's do it anyway. It's okay, you can always sleep through work tomorrow, okay? Hey, hey, tomorrow's just your future yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Ferguson.
after a certain amount of time, it starts to sound sarcastic. Please, just sit down. The woos and the whooping and the hollering, you make me feel like a stripper. And I like it. Hey! Oh, by the way, I didn't mean stripper, I mean erotic dancer. I look forward to your letters. It's a great day for America, everybody. It was a big weekend. A very big weekend at the theatre box office. The movie Paranormal Activity 2 is the #1 movie in the country. Critics say this is the scariest thing you'll see all year. Unless you get a text from Brett Favre. Paranormal Activity.
In your pants.
In your bag, yeah. There's more bad news for Brett Favre. He's got a swollen ankle from the game last night, and it turns out it's broken. Now, the doctors wanted to take x-rays, but Brett's wife won't allow any pictures below the waist, so they're in a corner. Now, I will warn you, though, if you want to know more about this story, be careful when you Google the words Brett Favre and swollen. And by careful, I mean do it. It's awesome. Congratulations today to French-Canadian diva Celine Dion. Over the weekend, she gave birth to twin boys. I think that's sensational. Congratulations, Celine. The last diva to have twin boys was Elton John. That was some time.
No kidding.
Yeah! Of course I'm kidding. For legal reasons.
No way.
Yes way!
Yes way.
Yes way! That's enough. Now listen, it's a great day for America, but not a great day in France. Everyone's on strike. The train conductors are on strike. The air traffic controllers are on strike. This week, the garbage men joined in. There's huge piles of garbage rotting in the streets. It smells like Randy Quaid has moved in. The strikers... Because he's crazy, that's why! Anyway, the strikers have built barricades around France's biggest landmarks. The Arc de Triomphe, the Eiffel Tower, Gerard Depardieu, they've all got right. And in Paris, they called in the riot police. And the French riot police are no joke. They crack skulls with baguettes, and when things get really bad, they unleash fire hoses filled with soft cheese. Oh, no! Oh, no! It is so restricting, yet delicious. Ah, you are quelling the riot of my hunger. The strikes, though, are threatening the French way of life. For example, today, an American tourist had to walk across Paris without getting insulted. And Americans in Paris are having to blow smoke in their own faces. When will the madness end? Now, the reason for this massive strike is the French government wants to raise the retirement age to 62. Right now in France, it's currently 27. The current retirement age is 60, and the French aren't too happy about working another 2 years. For the average Frenchman, that works out to be an additional 10 hours. No, don't. That's it. Look, I look forward to your letters. I look forward to your letters. I hope the unrest over retirement age doesn't come to America, but if it does, it will be adorable watching the old people riot. It will be on. What do we want? Well, you forgot. Well, when do we want it? Potatoes! I look forward to your letters too, your scratchy writing letters. I think most Americans... Is that too much, was it? That was a little too much. Anyway, I'm sorry. I do look forward to your letters. All right. Anyway, look, I think most Americans just kind of know when it's the right time to retire, really, here. It's time to say goodbye when instead of doing your job as a quarterback, you're texting pictures of your penis to other people. That's maybe the time to... It's just a suggestion. If I ever make it to retirement age, though, I don't plan on using my pension. All I need to be happy is a small cabin in the woods and my ferrets. Do we have a picture of me with my ferrets, do we? Yeah. Whoa. Don't get all clappy on me. Just showed a picture of me with my ferrets. It's not, you know, like, oh, wow, great, we saw a photograph. Man, if you're that easy pleased, I should send you photographs of my penis. But...
Yep.
Anyway, I'm talking about this France thing. It's going nuts in France. Experts say this strike is costing their economy $500 million a day. There's fuel shortages, the trains are not running. Some French people have been driven so insane they're showering every day. Oh! I'm just reporting the news! The new poll says that President Sarkozy is one of the most unpopular French presidents ever. He's only supported by 31% of his mistresses. Look, when you write your letters complaining, write them in French, because it's lovely to throw them out that way. No, the French unions are gearing up for even more strike actions. I always wanted to join a hard-working union, but I'm only in one union, the Hair Club for Men. They don't count as a union. I found that out last year when I demanded treatment for downstairs. That's right, things are getting thin and reedy down there. and so's the hair.
In your pants.
In your pants. In your pants.
In your pants.
In your pants.
In your
In your
pants.
pants. I hate when he does that.
Yep.
Yep.
Shall we meet some fine advertisers?
Yes! We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show where I did the emails at the beginning and you're like, And if you're just joining us, you didn't miss the emails. Well, actually, you did. But here's the reason why. Because, the guests I have tonight are so, impressive that I'm like, you don't really need me talking, which is what I'm doing now. So my first guest tonight is the former National Security Advisor, the former Secretary of State. Her new book, Extraordinary Ordinary People, is in stores now. Please welcome Dr. Condoleezza Rice, everybody. Dr. Condoleezza Rice. Dr. Rice, or may I call you Condoleezza?
You may indeed.
You look lovely this evening. Is that tweed?
Thank you. I don't know. I guess so. It's gray and
Come
white.
on, you
and
know
black.
what you're wearing.
Yeah, it's tweed. It's tweed.
It is tweed?
Let's just call it tweed.
Is it scratchy? I always find tweed a bit scratchy when I never wear dresses anymore.
No, it's really not. It's a nice, soft tweed.
Is it? Can I touch it?
If you'd like.
Will there be repercussions?
Depends on...
Where I touch it?
Right.
Well, what about up here in a sort of non-threatening area? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you can see. What do you think?
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, that's
thank you.
It's
Thank
not like
you.
tweed at all.
Thank
Looks
you.
a bit like tweed, not tweed.
No. It's you just have to buy tweed at the right place, and it'll be okay.
Ah. You're welcome, American tweed manufacturers. Now, may I ask, before I talk to you about your book, about your name, Condoleezza? It's such an unusual name, but where's it from?
It is. Well, Condoleezza comes from Condolcezza, which is an Italian musical term.
Really?
It means with sweetness, but I have to tell you why I'm named Condolcezza or Condoleezza. You see, my mom and dad had a deal when I was about to be born.
Yeah.
Had I been a boy, I was going to be named John. And my father, and my father already had the football. I was going to be an All-American linebacker.
Right.
And when I was born a girl, my mother got to name me, and so she started out with Andantino. That meant walking slowly. Didn't like the implications of that.
Right.
Then Allegro. That meant fast.
No, Allegro.
Yeah. Not good, especially in 1954. Not so hot. And so she decided on Condoleezza.
I think Condoleezza is lovely. And do
Well,
you
thank you.
and you go by Condi though, right?
I do, because when I was a kid, my father called me Condo. And I adopted Condi in self-defense.
Yeah, it's Condi's better because Condo's a little too apartmenty.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
I agree. Yeah.
Now is this your memoir?
It is. It's really a memoir of my parents and my grandparents, because people always ask me, Craig, well, how'd you become who you are? I said, you had to know John and Angelina Rice.
Well, yeah, I think that I mean, the groundbreaking situation you found yourself in, they must have been remarkable people. Are they still around?
No, unfortunately, I've lost them both. That's right, yeah.
I wrote a memoir, probably I talk more about getting drunk in mine
I heard
than you
that
did in
you...
yours. Do you talk about getting drunk in here?
No, not very much anyway. No, I know that we're...
Let's talk about you getting drunk, though.
No. We've both written memoirs.
No, we have. But
So
have we
have
both
in
gotten
common.
drunk, Condi? That's what I'm saying. Like, you worked with Boris Yeltsin a little bit.
A lady never tells, Craig.
Yes, but a politician should. So, when you worked famously with when George Bush the First, and is that how we were doing it now? Bush the First?
George H.W. Bush,
H.W.
or 41.
41,
the 41st
right?
president,
was
right.
working with Gorbachev, it would have been at the time.
That's right.
And then Yeltsin came in after Gorbachev.
Yeah, he did.
Right. Now, Yeltsin was a famous party animal who enjoyed vodka. Did you ever get drunk with him, is what I'm saying.
You never drink with a Russian.
No, I know. I've done
Never,
that.
ever.
You spent quite a bit of time there, didn't you?
I did. A lot of time.
Where, Moscow?
Moscow, mostly. Went to graduate school there for several months, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there for a couple. I went there for a couple of
Yeah.
months. It's crazy there.
No, it's actually a great place, Moscow.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
But were you there during the Soviet thing?
I was there in 1979. Now, I want to put everybody at ease. I was born in 1954.
Right.
That means I'm 55, so people
You
don't
look
have
great,
to
by
start.
the way.
Thank you, but people don't have to calculate. I'm
it's
55.
not just you're 55.
I'm 55.
Well, you must moisturize, girl. That's all I'm saying. Because you look lovely.
Good
Yeah,
family
and not
genes.
everyone can wear tweed.
Well, I
I
appreciate that.
hear that, girlfriend.
Please excuse my skeleton, doctor.
I like
Now,
your
did you-
skeleton.
I do. I like him too.
Yeah,
He's
I like
lovely.
him, yes.
He doesn't moisturize though. Do you find yourself in the writing of a memoir? People will be fascinated, of course, by the comings and goings of the administrations that you were part of.
Right.
Did you go into any of that at all? Or is this a personal memoir about how
This
you got...
is really a personal memoir.
Right.
Look, the extraordinary, ordinary people. Ordinary is because my mom and dad were ordinary people.
Right.
Mother was a school teacher. Actually, she taught Willie Mays, by
My
the way.
mother was a school teacher.
Did your mom teach Willie Mays?
You have me there, doctor,
Yeah,
but
I know.
otherwise she was a school teacher.
And my father was a high school guidance counselor, Presbyterian minister. So they were kind of ordinary in that way.
Yeah.
But I grew up in segregated Birmingham, Alabama.
That
and,
must have...
yeah, that was the extraordinary
You would be
part.
a young girl. You'd be still a girl during the initial civil rights
I
movement.
was a young girl.
Yeah.
But 1962, 1963, when Birmingham, my hometown, became called Bombingham.
Yeah.
Because bombs were going off in communities all the time. But my parents had me convinced that even if I couldn't have a hamburger at the Woolworth's lunch counter, which I couldn't because segregation, you couldn't go to a restaurant, you couldn't go to a movie theater, but they had me absolutely convinced that I might not be able to have that hamburger, but I could be president of the United States if I wanted to be. So they were pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, they are. That is an extraordinary... Do you think... I mean, your father was a minister. That's... are you a very
Yes.
religious person?
I'm a very religious person. My father was a Presbyterian minister.
Right.
So that
Are you a
was good.
Presbyterian?
I'm a Presbyterian.
I was raised a Presbyterian too.
Yeah, but
I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
but,
but,
you know,
but
yeah, the Presbyterians aren't saying, we've got him too!
No,
They're
no.
like,
Well, it's also true that being a Presbyterian in Scotland's a little different than being a Presbyterian in the United States, isn't it?
Well, it's kind of where I grew up. It was kind of compulsory.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you had to be.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess if your dad's a minister, you kind of have to.
Well,
be
my dad was a Presbyterian minister, but you know, the good thing is, since he was Presbyterian, he had this youth fellowship,
Yeah.
and he could even have dances at his church because he wasn't a Baptist.
Now, could he have dances between black kids and white kids?
No, goodness, no.
Really?
Oh, my
That
goodness,
seems
no.
so weird now when you think
Well,
of
it
the youth
does now.
culture.
It does now. But in those days, I did not have a white classmate until I moved to Denver when I was 12.
Wow.
So Birmingham was pretty segregated.
Did you find any racism in Washington when you went there? Does it still exist? I mean, because I think racism sometimes gets clever and sneaky and
Yeah,
becomes,
yeah.
you know, people pretend it's other things.
Do you know how it shows up? It shows up when people just think that they know what you think because you're black.
Because you're black,
Exactly.
or because you're...
Or it shows up because they think you are going to be a little less capable because you're black. It's a more insidious form of racism, actually.
What do you think is more insidious for you? Is it sexism or racism? What would work against you more?
Well, you know, I can't go back and create myself as a white man
Right.
and decide how I would have been. So
Neither can I.
Yeah. So, but I think we have fewer role definitions for black people these days. We can see a black person as Secretary of State, President of the United States.
Yes.
But for women, I think it's actually still, there's a lot of role definition. She's a woman, therefore.
Well, you're not my first Secretary of State here, though, because Madeleine Albright's been here.
I understand. My good friend Madeleine's been here a
Are you
couple
and Madeleine
times.
are friends?
Madeline and I are very good friends.
That's funny. I'd imagine politically you're not really...
Yeah, but you know, Craig, it is possible to have friends who are Democrats.
Well, I wish you would tell that during the elections to all these people that are saying that everybody else is a traitor and shouting at each other, and you go, I thought if you and Madeleine Albright can be friends, that's a lesson to us all, isn't it?
It's a lesson to us all. You also have to remember I'm in California, so if I don't have friends who are Democrats, I'm not going to have many friends.
Yeah,
so
that's true, yeah.
It's important. But Madeleine's father was actually my dissertation advisor.
No way.
That's right.
Really? You guys go back that long?
We go back that far because when I decided that I was not going to be a great concert pianist, I had studied music from age 3. I was
Right.
going to play Carnegie Hall. I suddenly met kids who could play from sight everything it had taken me to learn when I was 12, 13 years old. So I said,
So you
know
thought
what?
you'd become a Secretary of State instead? Good for you.
Right, because I thought I was going to end up teaching 13-year-olds to murder Beethoven or maybe working at Nordstrom or something. So
Right. Not that these aren't good
Not that
positions
these
to
aren't
have.
good jobs.
Helping you out
Not
here,
that they're
Connie,
not good
helping you
jobs to
out.
have, that's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? I know how to annoy the
Yeah,
people. You don't need to
that's
do
right.
that.
But in fact, Madeleine's father is the reason that I went into international politics.
You're both remarkable women. I want to talk to you a little more. Do you mind if we take a commercial break?
That'd
We're
be
still
fine.
capitalists.
You've got it.
All right. We'll be right back with Dr. Condoleezza Rice, everybody. I know, that's what I thought. Excuse me, they're back. We're back here with Dr. Rice, who we weren't talking during the break. I was just pretending.
Right.
Now, in the book, you talk about growing up in Birmingham. Do you still have a place in Birmingham to talk about?
I do not, although all my family is in Birmingham now.
Really?
Aunts and uncles.
Don't they have a very good college football team there? Crimson Tide
The
or something?
Crimson
Yeah.
Tide, it's in Tuscaloosa.
Oh,
though.
is that-
It's 60 miles from Birmingham, but the whole state loves Crimson Tide. Well, except those people who love Auburn.
Right.
Yes.
I've got a feeling I've wandered into a very dangerous area.
You have.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous area.
Yeah,
That's
sorry
right,
about
yes.
that. I did go to a diner once in Birmingham that had, until recently, the best Philly cheesesteak I've ever tasted. Salem's Diner in somewhere in Birmingham. It was very
And
nice.
you went to Birmingham and you had a Philly cheesesteak?
I know, I'm a very unusual person.
I think I would have recommended the barbecue.
What, oh, no, I had that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just
I'm
wanted to
not
make
a
sure.
one meal per
Just
town
wanted to make
person.
sure.
No, it was great. Now, what about the writing of the book? I thought, when I wrote the memoir, in all seriousness, I found it actually a very cathartic experience, and I found out a lot about myself while doing it. Did you? Because a lot of it I didn't remember.
Yeah.
You know, I had to check with other people.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you have that? And what I mean is, were you drunk for a lot? No,
I was going to say, why didn't you remember,
No.
but I won't go there. No, I had to talk to a lot of people. My parents, former students, my parents, former colleagues.
Right.
I learned how much of an impact they had on so many people. It was terrific.
Right.
I learned that I must have been something else to put up with
You're
as a
something
child.
else now, Dr.
Well,
Rice.
thank you.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you know, I was always questioning. I was always saying, well, tell me why I should do this. So I think being my parents must have been it's kind of a trial
I
sometimes.
think they'd be very proud, though. I think they'd be very proud of
think
what you've
so.
done. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And what about Washington life? What the future for you in politics, if any?
I'm staying in California. I go to Washington fairly rarely.
Yeah, I was there last week.
Were you?
Yeah, it's
What
nice.
were you
I didn't see
doing?
any political people. Well, everyone's political in Washington,
Yeah.
but I didn't hang with anyone.
I don't mind going to Washington. I didn't mind being there for 8 years, but you know, I'm a university professor at heart. I'm back at Stanford. I'm teaching, I'm writing, doing things like the Craig Ferguson show.
This doesn't count as
Yes,
work. Yeah. Well, maybe it does. I mean, have you been on a book tour? Have you been out?
I have been. I've been all over the place, and I'm headed to a couple other places, Omaha, Boston.
Now, do people get in your face at the book signings? Do they start talking to you about specific points of policy during the administrations
Well, there
you
are a
worked
few
in and
people who
stuff?
want to talk about policy, but there'll be another book that'll talk about policy. This one's about my parents. This
Right.
one's about my grandparents. My life before I became National Security Advisor.
Yeah. And so the next book is after you became National
The
Security
next
Advisor.
book is after
Have
I
you
became
started
national-
writing already?
I have started
Oh,
writing
no
already.
way. Really? You worked really
Yeah,
hard. See, I
yeah.
hate that.
No. One of the things that the book tells people is that I was actually not a grind. I was a terrible procrastinator.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
How come you ended up in politics then, where everyone works so hard?
Well, I won't go there.
Are you a very in your personal life? I mean, with you know, being raised and talking about your personal life, are you a very politically astute person? Are you very careful with relatives, or are you very blunt with them?
I tend to be pretty blunt.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I was known for bluntness even in Washington.
Yeah, no, I'd heard that. I
Yeah,
wondered if it
yeah.
went the other way as well, though. I mean, if, for example, if you know, if someone in your family says, "Do I look fat in this?" The classic "Do I look fat in this?" question, would you answer it truthfully?
Yes, I would say, you know, that's actually a lovely dress.
You did it right there. You did it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You could be president. You really don't think you're going to? You can stay away from it? I don't know if
absolutely.
you can stay away. Really?
I can stay away from it.
Really?
I had 8 years. It's a long time. I loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not every minute of it. I loved most of
bet.
it. But it's a tough life, Washington.
You know, I always think about the politicians that you know, because I occasionally get drawn into, you can't help it, you get drawn into some political debate with somebody about something, whether it's on TV or not. And I always get exhausted by it. I'm just kind of like, oh, shut up. You know, you're like, I'm not going to think differently because you're yelling. You know what I mean?
But that's the problem now,
Right.
is that the volume's so high.
Yeah.
And when you watch the shows, and I watch cable news too, I love it. But,
Cable?
Cable. Or, well, I watch the network news
Yeah,
too.
network news too,
After
yeah.
I've watched the network
Yeah, I
news, I watch
understand it.
cable news.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and the cable
Do I
news.
look fat in this?
Yeah. But the cable channels are 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's intense. Everybody's yelling at everybody else.
I know.
Nobody listens to anybody. And after, you can get a headache.
It
from
gets a
after
little
while.
tiring.
Yeah,
It gets a
does.
little tiring.
It does. Yeah.
But listen, I'm going to read this because I've heard it's really good, actually.
Well, if you read mine, I promise I'll read your memoir too.
You shouldn't read it. You wouldn't come back if you read it. Or if you did, you wouldn't be shaking my hand. It's lovely to talk with you,
It's great to
Condi.
be with
Thank you
you.
for coming. Dr. Condoleezza Rice, everybody. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. My next guest is a former NFL quarterback. To my knowledge, has never sent any photograph or text that even resembles his genitalia to anyone at all. We may find out differently tonight. Starting November the 11th, he's going to be the analyst on Thursday Night Football on the NFL Network. Please welcome the great Joe Theismann, everybody. Joe Theismann.
Tearing up the notes?
Yeah, tearing up the notes, Joe. Don't need them. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, how about this this business that's
How
going on?
about this business? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's really exposed a lot of us, hasn't
Oh, man. Do you know what
I'm thankful of?
What?
Seriously, is when I played, you couldn't send an email, you couldn't send a text, you couldn't do any of the things that you can do in the electronic media today.
Yeah,
and I think...
I don't think
I'm
the behaviour's
thankful of-
different. I think it's just the technology makes it more visible. I
Well,
think people are, you know...
Yeah, guys are...
Yeah.
Guys are guys sometimes, and I think the whole thing is just you know, for Brett, it's a tragedy.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
just
horrible, you know.
because it's his personal life, but I don't think there's anything in the world today that we can actually say is ours. It's personal. Everything seems to wind up out in the media some way, shape, or form.
Well, you know, the thing is, I'm certainly going to raise my kids to not photograph their own genitals.
I think that's a smart thing to do. I actually do. I really
Rule
do.
number one.
Rule number one.
If you get someone else to professionally photograph your genitals.
And if you get into a profession, make sure they don't do it as well. So you got
That's a completely different worry to go with as well.
It's bad.
Do you think, see, I always think that the idea of you get these young men playing this sport, they're full of testosterone, they're young, they're fit, they're excited, they're crazy, and they're in a locker room after a game, they're partially clothed, they're going out their minds, and then you send in a hot girl wearing a tight outfit and expect them to behave?
Well,
What the hell?
Well, I tend to agree with you. I think I've always felt that there should be a period of time after the game. Give guys a chance to get decent, and then have everybody come in. Everybody wants to capture that moment right after the game. Let's see if we can see just how upset this person is or how excited this person is. If you give everybody a little bit of a chance to sort of just become decent, you really shouldn't have these kind of problems.
But don't you think that
it's sort of
in the
human
NFL,
nature.
though, the franchises, I mean, there's money in these teams. You could
Yeah.
create a separate room from the locker room, perhaps call it something like the media room, and you could put in... you know, have the reporters and stuff in there and give them snacks and cheesy puffs or whatever the hell they have. And then when your guys are like, cool off a little. Now remember, where you're walking to now, this is the media. This is not a girl who's excited to see you. It's the media.
That's what you want to do. And everybody should have equal access. I'm all for men and women to have equal access to every athlete. It's just the way it is. You have to understand what's going on today in society, too. Like I said, it was different when I played.
Right.
Women first started coming into the locker room back 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable for us, to be honest with you, because, you know, you'd go to the shower, and then all of a sudden you'd peek around the corner to see if you could...
This is like my life.
I read that in the book, too. As a matter of fact. But it's you peek around the corner, you say, well, can I come out? And nowadays, you know, guys just say, okay, fine, it's accepted. Let's just go do it this way. And
see, I
just don't think you need to legislate in common decency.
Right.
I mean,
but
you know, the Jets
is...
go out and they're going to spend X amount of dollars on teaching people how to act when a woman's around. You know, yeah, you buy into this testosterone thing, but sooner or later, I think common sense has to play into the way you act and what you do.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you know, if you get these young guys, right, who are like, this is young men playing football. There's not young women on the team. I don't think anyone's against it, but
Brett's
there's not young...
41.
What?
Brett's 41.
Are you saying he's a woman because he's
No.
41? Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, yeah.
He's not,
Not necessarily,
I see what you mean. Yeah, but I think the thing is, well, you know, I'm 48. I'm still reasonably interested in that kind of thing.
I heard that.
Yeah. That's when I'm
When
coming
you're
out of the
not dressed
shower.
as
I just think that, you know, let's not have any men or women in the locker room until the athletes have decompressed a little bit.
Yeah.
The idea that, you know, you're expecting young men to behave like middle-aged lawyers, that's not going to work.
No, but,
you know.
but can you do it today? I mean, in this day and age where everybody's got a camera in your face.
Yeah.
You get off an airplane, cameras in your face.
I know.
You
The only
you
place
watch
you're
TV.
safe is here, where...
This is where there's a friendly crowd out there. And
Where, yeah, there's
just
110 people who've been bribed by candy and you're lit so badly nobody can see you. This is the way to do it.
that's
Now, let's talk a little...
that's why I feel so comfortable here.
Listen, I know this is kind of not really your thing, but I find myself drawn to the World Series a bit this year, a bit more than I usually am.
No, I love baseball.
No, do you?
My first love.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this.
Got drafted by the Minnesota Twins, actually,
know
oddly
that.
enough, to play baseball out of college.
Really?
Absolutely love baseball.
Yeah, well, so what do you think this year then? Were you watching the playoffs?
I watched the playoffs. I was, you know, the Yankees, they couldn't match what Texas could do putting runs up. The Yankees reached that point right now where we found out that you just can't go buy championships anymore.
Right.
I think the Cliff Lee deal, what a deal that was for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, isn't that the fellow
was,
that he was having trouble? And and he's like, they go.
He'll start game 1 of the World Series. The Giants were a great story as well. I mean, you've got two sort of franchises that no one expected to be there.
Right.
I think everybody sort of expected the Phillies and the Yankees to be playing.
Sure.
And that was the way it was going to go. And that's what I love about sports.
Right.
You just don't quite know what you're going to see.
It's like the way reality television used to be before they scripted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you still don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, the camera
and if you do know what you're going to get, then somebody's going to jail. Yeah.
Yeah, the camera goes on, and all of a sudden, here it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going to see in the series. It'll be fun. I mean, for those of us that love baseball, it'll be a great series.
Do you have a favorite in this, or do you try, because you commentate and speculate on sport, do you keep your own passions hidden from the?
Only when I'm on TV.
Right.
If I'm broadcasting a game, I don't choose a side.
Right.
I'm a Washington Redskin football fan, avid fan.
Okay.
As far as baseball...
A lot in the house tonight as well, I say.
I know. Watch this. Do you want to see something? The Steelers are just, you know, they... I knew it. I knew we'd find one.
Hey!
I knew we'd find one.
It's the gay guy!
Yeah. You know, well, you and I showed how we make our living doing certain.
That's true. Yeah.
No, but it's a.
Nah, it was just we were just messing with him before the show.
Steel City's never going to be.
I know you're a Steelers fan. It's all right. You should be proud.
No, but it's. I'm passionate about the team that I played for, and I have certain teams that I like. But when it comes to broadcasting, I try and be as neutral as I can.
Yeah.
Be an objective guy.
What do you think is the most detrimental area of sports today? What do you look at modern sports and you go, just see if that wasn't there, things would be better?
If it wasn't there, things would be better. I think some of the injuries that we're seeing.
Oh, this helmet thing.
The helmet, yeah. And we in the National Football League, I think, really try and set the trend for every other level of football that way.
Right.
There are certain degrees of it where it goes helmet to helmet where you have to avoid it, where you launch yourself.
Right.
For example, if you just...
do we have to?
Yeah, come here. Come here. Come here. Now, here you go. You've got the ball. Now, tuck it under your arm. Come on, tuck it under your arm, okay? Now, what's going to happen is, if I come, that's right, see what happens? He's lowering his, and I launch myself into you this way, okay? That's what happens.
Yeah.
It does, no. So what they're trying to do is avoid everything from here. So you want to try and hit people down in this area. But the problem is, as I come closer to you, you're going to come down.
I'm going to go like that.
Which makes it more
What if
difficult.
I go like this? All the way down.
Then I go... I wind up going like that.
Or I go like this.
That's the other option. That's the other option.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it's the helmet to helmet that we really want to avoid. Who's it made out to?
Craig.
Okay. How do you spell it? I got that figured out. Okay. Here we go.
It's almost like you've done this before.
It's my second one today.
Yeah, there you go. How much is it?
100.
Joe Theismann, everybody!
If you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and would like to attend a taping of The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, please call 323-570-0059 or visit oneiota.com.
What did we learn on the show tonight, Craig?
I'm very excited. Joe Theismann signed my ball.
And he also signed this.
No, I'm very pleased to have this. Actually, I've decided that, you know, I'd like to auction this off. So what we'll do is send in your bids. To qualify, you have to be called Craig. You have to have the second name Ferguson, and you have to be me. Oh, it's mine. Do you know that thing where I keep money on the desk, and then just at the end when Joe signed the ball, I said, oh, how much money? And he said, oh, that'll be, and then I gave him the money. He took it. And that's what makes him Joe Theismann.